Hi, this is Jill from Gilbert's Bits of Bites, and I'm here to show you my Wreath Maker action, which is fun, fast, easy, and addictive. So let's get started. Well, I'm going to assume that you've installed the action. I do have instructions in the folder when you purchase this, and so I'm not going to explain it to you here. But the way you're going to want to get started is you're going to want to open one of the start files that came with the action. Of course, you'd think I would have this ready, right? Okay, so I give you both PSTs and TIFFs. It's all for your preference. I personally like TIFFs because they take up less room. And there are actually, for each size, there are two different ones. There's a little black square, and on the ones that have, say, grid, they have a little grid on them. Others are just plain in case you don't need them. It doesn't really matter. It's just all your own personal choice. But I figured I would I don't talk too well. I thought I would accommodate people. So anyway, I have my first start file here. And as you can see, there are several different things in here. It's really not that complicated. The first, when I refer to a base layer, that's actually just your first layer. And then after that, you can add as many layers on top of that, or you can add layers beneath that. They actually come out looking pretty cool just even with 3 layers. And I keep the layers for you so that if you want to add in a bow or something like that, you can kind of place it or nudge it into some place where you'd like it to be. So let's get started. I'm doing the base layer here, and it just tells you all the regular stuff. Okay, let's go to the desktop here. I'm going to use some things from wonderful artist Julia Dreams. And so the first one, I think I'm going to start off with leaves. Now, one of the things I tell you to do in that first part there is you're going to want to sit there and size this thing down. And, excuse me, it could be up, it can exceed the size there. This is just pretty much to give you a feel for, you know, what you're putting in there. But I do not recommend that you exceed this width out here. So once I place it, it's automatically it's kind of going to do its thing, and then it's going to give you a stop and say, if you want to, you can rename this. So this says floral, I'll just say leaves. I don't usually rename them, but some folks might. So then all you do is you hit play, and there's your base. And as you can see, they're all called leaves. Now, if you're in Photoshop, regular Photoshop or Photoshop Elements 15, what I would recommend is selecting all those and grouping them. I just love to use groups. So now, when we come back over here, you notice like for each one of these things, I have a thinner and thicker in the make base. So this is the default, and basically just it's how many, it has to do with how many elements it uses to wrap around it. Now I want to add one on top, and I'm going to add a thin one. So let's go up here. So it says 8-piece layer. And I'll take this flower here. So as you can see, it's humongous. I'm trying to keep the aspect ratio in here. I haven't quite gotten that down yet. So I'm just going to stick that on there. I'm going to accept it. I'm not going to worry about renaming it. So there you have. Those are the flowers. So now I'm going to do a thick base layer. Now I don't put in shadows. Shadowing is your own preference. It's just kind of the way I wanted to do it, because I could see using this with these watercolor type of elements, and I don't really want to add shadows. But you can use regular flowers and leaves and things, and to make it more realistic, you might want to add your own own shadows. I'm not doing too good today. Okay, so this one here tells you it's going to give you a 24-piece layer. So I might want something that's going to be let's see, let's go with this. I'm going to place this. It's kind of hard to see it here. Oh dear. Now, what do I want to do? I kind of want it to stick out a little bit over here. Like that. I'm not going to rename it. As you can see, you're going to get a lot of layers. So as you can see, that's a thicker base right there. Now, you're not limited to 3 layers because I can now make a layer. Now it's going to be on top, but if I make it layer on top, let's just say add layer on top. So this will be your default one, and it will end up, it knows where to go to the 12. It's going to take 12 elements. And let's see if I can find something a little smaller. Let's go with this. Constraining proportions. I don't know why it's not really constraining it. Okay, and so you can place it anywhere. Now, don't worry. If this is, this is going to put things on top of your big flowers, you can change it when you're done. Okay, so I accept it. It starts running. I'm not going to worry about naming it. So, see, it added some more there. But I really don't want these to be on top of the purple one, so I'm making this group here, and I'm just going to move it down one. And there, it's inside there. Now you can even, if it's in a group, you can resize it. You can transform it if you want it bigger or a little bit smaller. I mean, I leave these available to you, or you're even rotating it if you're thinking, oh, I'm not exactly happy with that. So there's ways you can modify it, but it's so easy, it's so quick, it's so fast. You can just keep doing it over and over until you get the results you like and just delete them. When you are done though, just go ahead and do the finish wreath. Basically what it will do is it's going to get rid of all the stuff that was in the start file. Now I give you a chance to add in your shadows here. You can tweak them there. You could have done them sooner if you wanted to, but I just, before the end. And I didn't hit continue, did I? So what I do is I got it all trimmed down for you, and you can tell I have not used this very much lately. Don't show that again. And it'll come up and it'll save it as a ping, so we'll just call it a wreath. So there's my wreath. Now if you want to join in on a conversation, or even to ask questions quickly if you don't know how to get hold of me, over at the studio in the forum, under my name down here. Oops, went a little too far. I have a thread for this, and I do this with all of, or at least now I'm trying to do this with all my actions so that you can have a way of sharing ideas, getting hold of me. The person, Steph, who was the person who actually requested this particular action, who is now part of my team, is going to be for sure monitoring this. I also monitor it, and hopefully, some of the other ladies will get in there. But here's some of the examples. You can see that, and it'd be a great thing. Just share what you've done. If you have a tip or something cool you found out, hey, add it there. So there we go. That's my Wreath Maker action.